So Netherite, it's a very amazing ore that we now have coming into the new update, but everyone's undecided on what the best way to get it is. Some people think that it's TNT or beds, other people think that old-fashioned mining will suffice, and some even think that releasing the Wither is some sort of rational idea into a world of lava. And I'm here to say that all those ideas aren't entirely great. There is only one great idea, and that's the redstone solution, because it's never really failed us in the past. So here we have it, the redstone solution of getting netherite. So what we have here is we're going to start off with 4 blocks, a little bit like that, and then we're going to have one up like this. Now what we want to do from here is we basically want to have an observer pointing towards the back and a sticky piston. From here, what we're going to do is add some shielding to the device so we can control the explosions and how much damage we actually do to ourselves. And I've just realized I built this far too close to the lava, so I'm going to have to fly to do this, but that's okay. You get the idea still. So we're going to put a sticky piston here, we're going to put a honey piston here, honey block here. Oh, what am I saying? It's late at night, guys, come on. Give me a little bit of a break. And then we're going to put a normal piston right there, and we're going to finish off the machine by putting an observer right here. Now what we have here is something very amazing. We have a redstone machine. In fact, I call this the full power mining machine. So all that we need to do is move it forward. So you've got 2 options. You can either put it here or you can put it down here. Don't put it on the floor, otherwise it pushes this piston to the wrong place. So right at the back of the machine, and you can see that it can start moving forward. Now I've pushed it too far, that's perfectly fine, you just remove those blocks if you do. And we're going to put a bit of TNT on top. Now we'll push it forward again, and 3, 2, 1. There we go. And what you're going to find is that nothing's broken on this machine. You see, the netherite is actually a very interesting material. What it is it's kind of like obsidian, where it doesn't actually get blown up by explosions, but on the same extent, it can actually be moved like any normal block. So that means that we can use it in indestructible flying machines, much like this one is. Now, I mentioned before probably the shielding technique. So what is shielding? Well, let me go over here for a second and explain it, because I don't think anyone's really covered this before, which is kind of strange because it's been around for a very long time, but no one's ever sort of mentioned it too much. So we've got a TNT block here, and we have, say, a normal piston here. Now the TNT block at that distance should be able to blow it up. So we'll do a little bit of an experiment, and I'll show you perfectly fine that it can blow it up without any issues. And it can, perfectly good. Now, if we do it in this example, however, it's a little bit different. So let's again just have the water there. That's all the difference is. And you notice that it doesn't get blown up. And that's because the water is acting like a shield from the explosion. And the same thing can actually occur with blocks. So certain blocks like obsidian or the netherite block actually acts as a shield towards the rest of the machine and also the floor, which is why the floor is perfectly flat. So let's keep on pushing this forward, and I'll show you how fast this actually moves and whether or not you think it's actually any decent. So I'll just keep on moving it forward. It's actually not too bad a speed. It's actually pretty quick. If you did have something like a creeper farm, it would be definitely well worth even having a machine like this so that you can blast through quite a bit. Now, there is a few other things I should mention, but before I get into that, I want to mention one thing first of all. So you probably noticed, first of all, that the netherite here is a bit expensive. It's not a very cheap block to get, and this is using actually 7 blocks of it, so that would be particularly expensive. But don't worry about that too much, because I will show you something in a second, because that's not the only block that has this technique. The other one is actually the ancient debris. So you can actually swap out all these blocks with ancient debris that you can mine with the silk touch pickaxe, if I can talk properly. So we'll do the same example here. So we'll jump to the back of the machine and we'll launch it forward, and you'll see that again it's perfectly fine. Now you can also ride on top of the machine, which is an essential function. If you need to ride on top of it, you need to stand on the honey block here, because that's going to hold you onto the machine. So just go forward again and then stand on the honey block, launch it on that back one there, and you'll see that there's a little bit of blast damage here, so probably a good idea to have a little bit of armor so that you can withstand the explosion. But it is very useful for the nether where there's a lot of lava, and often you find with this machine that, or I guess with any sort of technique that you're using in the nether, that a lot of lava is kind of a constant thing that you're going to have to deal with. Let's actually switch over to the nether and see what it's like working with this machine down at a very low altitude. So, oh, I've already found some diamond. So let's jump over and I'll see you guys in a second. Man, of all the luck, I literally just dug straight down and was planning to obviously get some TNT to open up the space, and there's a block right here. In fact, there's two. Of all the luck. Good, now I'm a bit lower than you would normally be, mainly because we're not going to be damaging the ground below us, but the ground above us, so it should be pretty fine. And I'm going to switch out back to the netherite brick just because it looks prettier. For no other reason really. It's no performance upgrade or anything like that. So you're going to see me obviously building this thing again, which, yeah, it's pretty easy to build. I mean, if I had to build this multiple times or something like that, it wouldn't really be too bad of a actual deal that we're going on with. So that's okay. And I think I've actually built that wrong. So yes, sticky piston on that one, honey block on that one, and then a regular piston on this one over here. And then all we need to do is shuffle that a little bit forward, and that should do. So let's do a little bit of mining so that you get the idea of how this machine would actually work. And yeah, nice big areas. I also experimented a little bit with ghasts, but I will say it wasn't the best. So it's probably okay. So in these cases, what you want to do is obviously jump up on the machine very quickly, and you can continue to mine through. Hopefully we don't actually hit one of the lava wells, otherwise it will cause a few different problems, and hopefully it's not too thick. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. Maybe not. We're probably going to have some lava shielding going on here, which is going to be a little bit problematic. So hopefully if we get rid of that one, we should be reasonably okay. So let's give this one a shot, and whoop, again, stand on the honey block, not the other one. And whoop, well, there's even more lava. Jeez, this place is ruthless. Okay, let's just cover up some of these holes that we have here, hey? Because this is getting a bit out of hand for a tutorial. Jeez. Okay, so give it a few moments, wait for it to all settle down. So the same design should actually work in Bedrock as well. There we go, all fixed. And off we continue. So we're just going to continue on our way here so that you guys get a bit of an idea as to what this is like. And I wasn't actually standing on that, so that's okay. I'll also operate this thing. Should we operate it in, yeah, I'm going to change over to other game mode. Obviously I probably want to grab a little bit more TNT before I do that, otherwise I've only got one blast. It is a bit expensive on TNT, I will say, but well, at this pay, realistically it's more really aimed at the point where you have farm for TNT and that sort of thing. You wouldn't really want to be operating this before you have a farm, so it gives you a bit of an idea. But I gotta say, this thing, as far as it working goes, is pretty cool, I will say. So okay, we've hit the wall. So again, all that you need to do is move that out of the way, or the 2 blocks out of the way, and then it should blast through pretty fine. Yep. And it just continues on. It is pretty resilient, I will say. It's a nice sort of flying machine that it's got set up here. So it's definitely a lot more easier and a lot less stressful than a lot of other ways. And oh, we've even found some more. This is possibly my lucky day, so we're doing alright so far. Okay, so how many have we got in total here? I'm not going to count those two. So we've got 1, 2 up there. Okay, again, lava, which is going to be something that you're constantly running across. So I'm just going to chuck in a sticky piston, then get rid of it, and we're just going to retreat to the machine, stand up on the honey block, and we're going to start flying forward again to try and get into a good position. As I said before, you're going to want to have something to protect yourself if you're going to be using it like this. We're not too bad. Should be okay. Well, that's the wrong one. Okay, and in we go. That should be pretty fine to work. Yep. Okay, again, we're hitting lava, so we need to hop back on top of our machine. See, this is kind of what it's like in the Nether, though, is that you're going to be constantly running up against lava. You don't want to be using something like just TNT by itself, because you're really going to be hammering any sort of lava resistance potions quite hard constantly in a situation like this. So that's something to bear in mind. I mean, all that really stands between you and losing everything is pretty much one explosion at any one point. So it's good to have the shielding in this case, just because it's that little bit more added protection between you and the explosions. And I think that this is quite a good methodical sort of way. We've gone pretty far pretty quick, actually, to be honest. So that's not too bad. We've gotten jammed in something, I think. Yeah, something's jammed us. That's okay. That does happen sometimes if I push it too far. So what happens is that, say a block was in front of the TNT but not below it, then what would happen is that the TNT ends up inside the block above, or where it ends up, and it basically, yep, we've hit more lava. This is, you can see why I built this thing, to actually be able to work so that you can stand on top of it, can't you, at this point? It's just constant at this. Okay, let's keep on going and keep on plowing through. I think we can go a couple more forward. And here we go. So yeah, we might possibly be approaching one of those lava wells that I was talking about, but we'll see how we go. We'll give it another shot, see if we can hammer on through a little bit further. Okay, and yep, okay, yeah, we've definitely hit something. Okay, so as I'm just doing this in a tutorial, I don't really want to make it too sort of hardcore or anything like that, namely because I'm not really a hardcore sort of player at all. And hey, I'm good with machines, bad with survival. Okay, so yeah, this is one of those wells that I was talking about where it's a large sort of area of just constant lava. So that's where we start running into a lot of sort of issue, and those sort of situations, probably what I would do, you don't have to do the same, but what I would do is basically work from the roof down. So basically blocking off the whole thing a little bit like this, and basically grabbing the whole machine, moving on to somewhere else. I hope that sort of helps out, guys. I think that we've made it a fair distance here. We even found some along the way, so that's always a good sort of sign that things are... Oh, we've even found some more. I didn't actually realize that. So in this short stint, we've found, what, 4 pieces, I believe? So that's not too bad. Let's go out this way and see if we can try and find a little bit more. So I'm just going to build another one very quickly here. You'll get the idea of how these are built very quickly, because they're rather simple. They were sort of designed that way. I didn't really want to have something that was too complicated, mainly because the more complicated that you build it, the longer it takes to set up and disconnect each time and all that sort of stuff. So too complicated isn't going to be good in these sort of situations. And that is basically it. So let's get firing and keep on moving on our travels. So I think I should be able to go a few more forward. That should be perfectly fine. Let's keep this thing rolling. I've gone too far. Of course I have. Why not? Okay, wish us luck. I think that's right into the wall there, is it? Okay, there we go. So, yeah, it's pretty quick. Like, I gotta say, as far as finding netherite goes, it seems to be probably one of the quickest and one of the safest sort of ways. Wait. There was some there. There was some there. Why? Again, lava everywhere. It's just ruthless. Luckily enough, the machine's actually built to withstand lava, so that's perfectly fine and safe, and it'll be good in a few seconds. I would say not to leave these lying around, because most likely someone's going to, especially if you build this out of nether brick, or the netherite brick, someone's going to peel for this thing like crazy before too long. But welcome to the world of the nether update, where people if you leave this out in public, you're going to find it up on bricks. Sad, but probably true. A little bit sadistic of Mojang that they've actually made this update simply because they've now made the nether attractive, which means that now people are more inclined to actually live in a highly dangerous place. I mean, I'm certainly thinking about having a base in the nether. That would be fantastic, but at the same point, when you think about it, this is what you've got to constantly live with. I mean, it's just lava everywhere. That's a horrible idea. But they've definitely outdone themselves on this update. Let's see if we can keep on plowing through and whether or not we can get past this. Oh, God, it just doesn't end, does it? It could be worse, though. You could have a wither on the loose. Nah, I think that most of the ideas that people have come up with are pretty good. The reality is just that it's just such a terrible... Oh, we found some more. Yeah, it's just such a terrible environment that even with a machine like this that's specifically designed to withstand the nether, it's just going to be horrible. I honestly don't think that this... Yeah, here we go. This is one of the wells that we were talking about. So it's just a giant column of lava. If you go straight through it, again, the TNT is going to act as if it was in water. So basically you can set it off like you would normally and it won't actually explode anything. There you go. No damage to anything at all. So you would have to be able to get through here, pickaxe, while you're completely blind looking at fundamentally this, and hopefully not run out of potion before you either A, got through to the other side somewhere safe, or B, somehow managed to get back while not being able to see anything, because this is not a lot to be able to see. This is basically what you'll be looking at. It's just... I gotta say, this is one heck of an update to Minecraft. I mean, you know, dying in lava is one thing that we have, but deliberately jumping into lava while you can't see anything, now that's a different sort of game. I think that this machine is definitely powerful. It's just more that you're gonna have to deal with the idea that no matter how powerful the machine is that we have, we're always gonna have issues like this. Even if you built something massive like Ilmango's giant flying machine that basically has the infinite TNT glitch and things like that, you're still going to have massive amounts of issues being able to get through everything, mainly because of how lava reacts. So yeah, I can basically set it off exactly the same sort of way as you would have in something like water, and no damage to anything. So it renders almost everything completely useless when we start dealing with lava. But I think that this machine's definitely got a bit of a advantage to it. Obviously, we've ended up with both of them stuck in lava. But yes, well, that sort of happens, I guess, sometimes. And I'll try and build a machine that actually incorporates a number of them all together. And I'll probably see you guys in the next one.